Hello and welcome to Isfjell, which is not Isfjell this week, as my foolish players have agreed to tonight become investigators as we bring you Call of Cthulhu, The Haunting. We are in 1920s Boston, and I have an echo. We are in 1920s Boston, and a place in which many of the people speak with a surprisingly English accent, or a very bad American accent. And I am joined by three investigators. Who wants to start? Who are you, and who will you be playing this evening? And then I'll get into the scenario. Tan?
Okay.
Do you want to go first? Oh, no. Mama.
Okay. I guess I will go. I'm Mama, and I'm going to be playing Cynthia Morrison, who's a 30-year-old transplant from West Virginia and is a mystery novelist.
All right. Moira, who will you be playing this evening?
My character is Tilly Trent, and she is an antiquarian that loves antiques and loves them so much that she's willing to get her hands dirty to get them. So she will be investigating along with these folks, trying to see if she can get anything interesting.
And last but not least,
I am an antique, which is why I'm hanging out with the antiquarian, I guess. I am an older gentleman, a professor of history who doesn't realize how old he is and likes to hang out with the younger ladies. I am a professor of history.
and I will be your keeper for tonight. So, we begin with an introduction, as these three individuals have been hired to investigate a haunted house in Boston. You're a friend of yours, or an acquaintance of yours named Mr. Knott, first name temporarily forgotten. Let's call him Mr. I keep wanting to say William. We've already got a William involved.
Can we just call him TF for temporarily forgotten Knott?
Mr. Temporarily Forgotten Knott, your friend, has hired the three of you to investigate a property that he has just purchased. So he invites you all around to his house, sort of lay out what is going on here, and sort of invites you in. Cynthia, I'm glad you could make it. Mr. Knott is English, by the way. Cynthia, I'm glad you could make it. Tilly, and Billy, Mr. Quatermain, Professor Quatermain. I'm sorry, Professor Quatermain. I am very glad you could all make it. Come in. Drinks, anyone? Drinks? Yes?
Oh, yes, please. Definitely.
Of course.
Good.
What drinks are being offered?
Just tea and coffee. I would not be, of course, serving any alcohol. If it's
Oh, I wasn't trying to imply that. Tea would be lovely.
Hide the wine. Yes, well. Anyway, the long and short of it is I feel I've set myself in a sticky situation with a recent purchase. I've bought an old house up in central Boston, and I'm trying to rent it out, but it appears that I've been rather done badly to by whoever sold it to me. This place has quite the reputation, it would seem. I've not done much digging into the records myself, hoping you could help with that sort of thing. But it seems that the former tenants had a bit of a tragic incident. And no one wants to rent it since. I'm quite happy to. So, what I'd like you to do is just try and get to the bottom of this matter. Like, what happened to the house? What's going on there? And of course, I would be willing to compensate you well for looking into this for me. There should be £25 each for you. It should only take you a couple of days. It is. Let's see. It's the house. It's referred to mostly as the Corbitt house after one of its previous owners. It's up on the address. Hang on, let me just check the address. I've not been in Boston very long. I get all the streets. It's rather muddled up if I'm not careful. Yes, let's see. Yes, it's on Newport Street. Yes. There you go. You can't miss it. Everything else around there has been built up into offices these days. It's pretty much the only residential property left. Yes, keys. That's. Any questions before you get going on looking into this matter?
How old did you say the house was? When did you purchased it recently?
I purchased it a while ago. I'm not sure exactly how old the place is. You probably have to check up at the Central Library or the Hall of Records or something to get a few more details on. I'm no historian myself. I'm just a property dealer.
You don't have any paperwork from when you purchased it?
Only Stephen. My first name's Stephen. Sorry. No, I do not. Nothing particularly exclusive other than the amount I paid for it and the man I bought it off. But he didn't live there himself. He had tenants. The Macario family, I believe, was the last tenants about a year back. But no one's lived in it since.
Who was it? The person that you purchased it from?
That was Mr. David Erickson. A Swedish gentleman.
Okay.
But I believe he's returned to his home country since. I could I can give you his address if you send a telegram or a letter to him, but you'd be unlikely to get a response for a good while.
No, but that just means that we have the ability to look up any records that were under his name.
Yes, well, if you ask around, you should get plenty of information. As I said, not really my speciality, but I'm sure between the three of us, you could handle this. Yes.
Well, the important information. The important information, my dear boy, is the alcohol cabinet stocked?
In the house?
Of course.
I wouldn't know. The Macarios were, well, from what I hear, rather religious types, so I'm not certain.
Oh, bother. Now.
So, there have been tenants, but has anything been touched or removed from the house since it was originally owned?
What, since the tenants left, or?
Since before the tenants.
Oh, I don't know the long history of the place. I said you'd have to check elsewhere.
I'm just asking if any items from the original owners of the creation building of the house are still around.
I mean, when I looked at it, there's a couple of old paintings and things that definitely looked
Perfect.
a bit fancy for the last tenants, but I didn't I only just stuck my head in. I didn't want to linger.
Sure. That's enough.
I had a business appointment to get to.
I'm sure you did.
Yes.
Cynthia has been taking notes this whole time.
Good. So, with Mr. Stephen Mott having hired you to do this task, you now have in your possession a set of keys for the house, the address of the house, and a promise of payment once you've got to the bottom of this. Between the three of you, you would know from your sort of previous times researching things, digging around, that if you're looking for information in Boston, the best places to head are sort of the public records, one of the newspapers, or the main library in Boston. That's where you begin, and what you do is entirely in your hands. What would you like to do?
Oh, I want to head to the newspaper and see if I can dig anything up in there.
Also, splitting up is a perfectly valid strategy.
I would head to the library to do some research in the historical archives.
Okay.
Yes, library sounded the most sane option to Tilly as well, so.
Okay, so Billy and Tilly
Yes.
head to the library. Well, Cynthia is heading up to the offices of the newspaper, the Boston Globe. And I think in this case we will begin with Cynthia. So, Cynthia, as you head over to the offices of the Boston Globe, is this somewhere you would have been often before, or is this your first time visiting?
I believe that I would have been there before doing some research for locations for some of my novels.
Okay, so you're fairly familiar with the building, and perhaps you've met a few people there before. But as you head up to the building, you know that they have clipping files which are not sort of generally open to the public down in the basement. Mm-hmm. And upstairs is sort of the offices of the editors, the editorial staff, and the actual printing press itself over in a side building. As you head up to the main desk, you see a familiar face of the receptionist there. Good morning. This and welcome to Tis Attempts American Accents. Good morning, Boston Globe. How can I help you?
Hello, I'm here to look up some previous newspaper articles on a particular building.
Do you know which editions you want to look at?
Which edition? No, I don't.
Yeah, do you have a specific article in mind, or?
I was looking for a particular home, looking for any deaths. I didn't look up any particular articles.
Okay, bear with me one moment. I'll just I'll fetch the editor for you. And she departs for a moment and returns shortly later with a rather sort of large, almost rotund man in a slightly too small suit, with a moustache and a balding patch on the top of his head. And as she goes, R.T. Wilmot, editor of the Boston Globe. You would be?
I'm Cynthia Morrison. I'm here to do some research on a building. I didn't look up any editions that the articles may have been in.
Well, we don't just let anyone down into our clippings morgue. But what was it you wanted to look up?
been asked to look up the Corbitt house over in Boston.
That doesn't mean much to me, I'm afraid. Look, as I said, we don't just let anyone down into our records.
Oh, no. I understand. This is...
At this point, I think this would be a good chance for you, Cynthia, depending on what approach you're taking here, to either make me a persuade or a charm roll. Depending on sort of what sort of attitude and approach you're trying to take to get access to these records. So if you look on your character sheet, you should have skills in both of those, and you pick which one you'd like to use, so depending on what you're going for here.
Oh, sorry about that. Is that better? Audio? Is that better audio?
A little bit.
No, it's a little bit better?
You're definitely coming in louder on OBS. I can see you louder there, so. Just continue on and assume we're okay until somebody complains.
Okay. I will also sit closer to the microphone. I think charm might be the better. I'm going to, all right, be super polite, I am a little bit from the South, so charm has always worked.
Okay, so make me a charm roll, please.
The green one, correct?
Yes. If you roll the purple one by accident, that's no problem. Okay. So, Art does not seem particularly impressed by your efforts of politeness. But if you want to try and push this, you can, either by using a slightly different approach or by being extra evasive and charming. I'm going to say that if you fail a second time round, he may just think there's something up and you may find yourself asked to leave. But it's up to you whether you want to push on with this or not.
The receptionist is still sitting at her desk, right? We're still in front of her desk?
Yes.
And she looks familiar to me, correct?
Yes, she does.
Does she have a name?
Yes, she does. Her name is Polly.
And she doesn't have a name plaque, correct, on her desk?
No, she doesn't.
Okay. I am going to turn to Polly. Polly, I've been here before doing research for things. I write novels. I've talked to you before. I haven't been a problem before, have I?
And Polly goes, Boss, she's been here a couple of times and she ain't caused any trouble. Cynthia, I'd like you to I'm going to give you a bonus die for this now, for this second attempt.
Okay.
So if you go for the purple one on your character sheet this time, that should allow you to roll with a bonus die. Okay, not that you needed it, because this is an extreme success.
Okay.
So with your character vouched for by Polly, Art gives a sigh and goes, well, in that case, I'll take you down, but honestly, shouldn't be just letting anyone down in our records. Had some people around the other week that left the place in an absolute tip.
Oh, no, I always clean up after myself, I promise.
Good. Well, if you follow me down here, let's see. If you just follow those stairs down there, and if you get to the base, there's a lady down there named Ruth. She knows a way to find all sorts of stuff down there. But as I said, just try not to make any mess.
Oh, I promise I won't make a mess.
So, as Cynthia descends down towards the clippings archive, also known as the morgue, we switch over to Billy and Tilly at the public library, I believe it was, you two were heading to. The Boston Central Library.
Okay.
It's a rather well-established institution. And as you spend some time looking around, what I'd like each of you to do is to make me a library use roll. You can tell a certain thing about a game by what kind of roles they have as skills. D&D, everything's about fighting. Call of Cthulhu has specific skills for anthropology, appraisal, and library use. Which is what I like about it. Okay. What have we got here? So once looking around, Billy, you get a little bit distracted. Really, I should have given you a higher library use than that, honestly. You're apparently somehow reached a being a history professor whilst not being very good at using library. Let's say you usually have someone go fetch things for you. And it's a while since you actually set foot in the library itself. You just get rather distracted by the sheer amount of books there are there. But Tilly, you take a more sort of no-nonsense approach to this. And first of all, what you discover is about this particular dress is that it was built in 1835 by a prosperous merchant. But almost immediately after he built it, he fell ill and sold it to a man named Mr. Walter Corbitt, Esquire. So that's sort of after the first bit of searching around. You can spend some more time searching around, both of you, if you should wish. If you want to put another hour or so into the library, you may find more, or you may not.
If there's a way for me to pinpoint the does it describe which illness it is, or it just says he fell ill?
It just says he fell ill. It doesn't really go into much more detail. It seems to be a brief mention in sort of a record of like sales and property dealings from the 19th century.
Can I try to pinpoint the illness maybe in searching?
Okay. So pushing on searching for another hour, make me another library use check. If you get a hard success, I may give you a little bit of extra into a massive. Let's see. Tam, you are also welcome to make another roll spending time in this library.
I was going to ask...
or Billy can take a nap.
Is it possible there's someone here I would know who I have probably sent to look things up for me in the past that I could speak to?
You know what? Make me a look roll. That's up on the top, towards the top of your sheet. You'll see look. That's look with a U, not look with an O. Let's see if you're lucky enough to have... yes! One of the undergraduates you always send looking for books. It's that. Over there trying to desperately write their essay.
Sam, I'm Samantha.
Oh, Professor.
Samantha, pardon me. Thought I'd help you out with the name. I'm looking for some information, and you've always done such a wonderful job researching. I'm wondering if you could maybe look something up for me.
Yes. Wait, hang on. No, Samantha. Yes, sir.
First, let me clarify. Tilly, I assume you have shared this information you did collect with me, so I'm aware of what you're aware of? Okay. Well...
I usually read out loud, so if you had at least been around me, I would have been reading it aloud. Probably
looking over your shoulder, reading at the same time. Well, apparently there was this house built in 1835, and it was handed over to this Walter Corbitt. Up on Newport Street. I was wondering, apparently there's some things about the house, and the builder fell ill. I'm wondering, could you find out any information on that?
Yeah, I'll go take a look.
As she steps away, I'm going to start looking over her notes to see what she's writing about too. For her.
You see that they appear to be notes on what area of history do you lecture on, Billy? Putting you on the spot here.
I'm a specialist on the Black Plague.
She's actually writing an article comparing the effects of the famous Black Death sort of plague against earlier Justinian plague.
Interesting.
And trying to determine from historical records whether they were indeed likely similar plagues.
Very good.
But yes, so Samantha goes off to have a search round, and Tilly, you're spending another hour or so searching round through the records. Meanwhile, back over at the Boston Globe, Cynthia, you reach the dusty lower levels. The light down here is dim, just lit by the few flickering bulbs, and you're greeted at her desk by a little old lady with, I wish I had glasses now, a pair of spectacles perched on her nose. She's sort of peering over. Yes?
Are you Ruth?
Yes, I'm Ruth.
I'm Cynthia Morrison. And she holds out her hand to shake. And I was given permission to look up information and any articles that might have been on a particular house.
Yes. If you go for the address, which is, I'm going to say for now, it's number 13 Newport Street.
13?
Yes.
Okay, it's called the Corbitt House, and it's number 13 Newport Street in Boston. And I was wondering if you had any articles.
Well, give me a sec. I'll be back in a minute. Although, depending on how old it is, our records only go back to about 1878. There was a fire here. We haven't got anything older than that.
Okay.
So I can only find articles after then. But 1 second. And she disappears off between the stacks, and you hear sort of rustling and rummaging around. No, not that one. Aha! And she comes back a moment later with an article. She says, "This was never published, though. It's from 1918, so fairly recent, but we never published it. It's the only reference I've got to the place." And she hands you over this clipping. And would you like to read it, or shall I?
I can read it. Okay. So read both paragraphs, correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
Both of these have been handed over to you.
1918 feature story, which was never published. It states that in 1880, a family of French immigrants moved into the house, but fled after a series of violent accidents left the parents dead and 3 children crippled. The house long stood vacant. In 1909, another family moved in and immediately fell prey to illness. In 1914, the oldest brother went mad and killed himself with a kitchen knife, and the heartbroken family moved out. In 1918, a third family, the Macarios, rented the house, but they left almost immediately after they all became ill at the same time.
But that's all we've got on the place, I'm afraid.
Thank you very much. Do you mind if I copy this out?
Oh, no worries. Just sorry about the lighting down here. The bulbs keep going.
Oh no, it's fine. And I am going to, if there is a table to sit out that's not her desk, I will sit down and copy out word for word the article.
Okay. So as you're copying this out, back at the library, Tilly, you've discovered a couple of things. First of all, you find mention a little more detail on the illness that struck down the merchant who built the house, and Mr. I keep wanting to call him Dave, Mr. Daniel Peters, who was said to have fallen ill of a mysterious disease that doctors could not fully understand, swiftly and painfully. And he was, the only note they made was he was rambling as he went about being cursed.
Got it. That's good enough.
What you also find is a couple more mentions of people attempting to sort of buy the land for development, and of a developer who attempted to buy the land some 20 years ago, suffering a tragic accident when they managed to fall out the window of their office. Meanwhile, Billy, Samantha comes to you, clutching 2 pieces of paper. She goes, I think I found something, sir. So it says here that in 1853, your Mr. Corbitt was sued by his neighbours who petitioned to force him from the area in consequence of his serious habits. I'm not sure what that word means there. And unauspicious demeanour. But then here it says that he won the lawsuit and that he was still living in the same place in 1866. And that they were bringing out some second lawsuit when he died to prevent him from being buried according to his will. Says here that he wanted to be buried in his basement, but I don't think they let you just bury people in basements.
Not usually. Not with approval anyway. It's amazing what you can get away with if you don't ask, right, Samantha?
Sorry, sir?
Nothing. Good work on your paper. It looks like good progress there. I think you'll do well. Thank you very much for this information.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. I better get back to writing. My professor set me a deadline right after the weekend. It's terrible.
We do that just so you won't have fun on the weekends.
I know. Yes. But as you finish Tilly, you finish your research and Sam brings you bits of paper. It's getting towards closing time at the library by now. Libraries being notorious for shutting at very irritating times halfway through the day. But yes. So, was there any further research any of you wish to do, or did you wish to reconvene and sort of look out what you're doing?
Probably reconvene, personally.
Sounds good.
Yes, we probably would have agreed to reconvene somewhere.
Okay, so let's say you reconvene at a local cafe. America has cafes, yes?
Well, Boston does for sure.
So.
Boston has cafes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. reconvene at a local cafe, and as the three of you meet up to share your findings and try and, well, work out where you go from here.
So Cynthia, we've found out through Tilly's good efforts and my contacts, there's been some oddities at this home, and the builder, what was it she said, Tilly? Was that servious habits and inauspicious behavior? Something like that? That apparently this Corbitt person was quite a fellow. Unauspicious. Was quite a fellow and actually wanted to be buried in his basement.
Yes, it seems there's a lot of strange illness. That is what I keep getting caught up on.
Oh, yes. Actually, and she'll pull out the paper that she copied down. Every tenant that's lived in that house has gotten ill of some sort, and it's usually every member. One of them, and she looks through the document that she copied out. One of them, and she points to the name that she wrote out. He ended up killing himself there in the kitchen. Now, and this was a story that was never printed in the paper.
I'd understand why.
And she'll pass the paper over to whomever wants to read it next.
I'll just look over Tilly's shoulder while she reads it.
Yeah, I'll read it aloud. Interesting. Well, seems like a lovely place to go investigate, doesn't it?
Oh, yes. Definitely. When did you want to go? It's a little late tonight.
Well, the night is when all the creepiest things happen, don't you think?
I don't have any...
Yes, it does. Usually.
So do we want to seek the creepy, or do we want to avoid the creepy, I think is the question.
Well, I would say I've got nothing else.
Did you have any...
I have nothing else this evening. I mean, it seems really... Why don't we have dinner and a couple of drinks and then head and check the place out?
Yes, alcohol in the system before heading to a place full of illness and death. Sounds like a great idea.
This sounds like an excellent idea.
It's a good way to steal oneself.
Having done your research for the day, you're waiting till evening to investigate the haunted house. You are my favorite investigators yet. So, a visit to a local speakeasy and a few drinks later, you find yourself making your way to Newport Street. And you see that, as Mr. Knott said, the area around is mostly offices. It's quite quiet, not many people out and about. And the only sign of sort of other people around is one old, rather drunk-looking man stumbling his way down the side of the street. But other than that, the place seems deserted. And as you come closer towards the Corbitt house, towards number 13, you can see that it looks different from the rest of the house. It's rather overshadowed by the taller office buildings on either side. It's a brick building with sort of undergrowth and sort of large, unkempt garden around it. It seems to almost withdraw into the shadows of the nearby buildings. And you can see that the windows are curtained. So you can't really see anything inside it. And the place seems almost hung over with shadows and grown up around with tangled undergrowth. It's a 2-story building. And you can see the front door facing the street.
Before they go in. she's taking notes. She's writing out a description of the house.
Okay. There's a set of small steps leading up to a front door. Are you going in?
Oh, like I said before going in, I am Cynthia is taking the time to stand
Bless
under
you.
a light.
Sorry.
Sorry. So Cynthia is taking time to write out notes and a description of what the house looks like outside. And then she will start to cross the street, I guess, when everybody's ready.
So you're sort of are you just making notes on the front of the house, or are you trying to sort of get a look around at it from all angles?
From all angles, if possible.
Okay.
Is it fenced in, or
It's not fenced in, but it is. The garden itself is the grass is high, and the plants have not been tended in a while. But you can sort of make your way through the undergrowth around the house if you wish.
Yes. I wanna check out the outside of the house first.
Okay, so as
I will gesture. I will turn to the professor and to Tilly. Did you want to go with me? I want to check out the outside of the house first.
So as you make your way around the house through sort of the long undergrowth, first of all, I'd like you to make me a spot hidden roll, please. Here.
Is that specifically for Cynthia, or are we all doing it since we're joining her?
If you're joining her, yeah, I'll let you go ahead and make one too. Okay, what do we have here? So yes, you make your way.
On there.
You rolled it.
Okay, there it goes. It took a minute.
Okay, so as you make your way around the outside of the house, sort of noting doors and windows, you can see that the lower floor windows are dark, and you see that they look to have been boarded up from the inside. Making your way around, you see along one side of the house, there's quite a few windows. And if you make your way back round the other side of the house, you see there appears to be a back door, a kitchen door. As you're making your way round the front of the house, Tilly, you catch sight of some movements from one of the upstairs windows. There's a little twitch of one of the curtains. And the shadow of someone perhaps moving upstairs.
It seems we may have company of some kind.
What's that, Tilly? What did you see?
Oh, it seems like someone's upstairs. Didn't you see it?
No, I didn't see anything.
Well, I thought I saw a curtain move, but maybe just the wind.
Well, with all the windows...
There might be a draft.
Yes, with the windows like this, there's probably a broken wind somewhere. Could have just been a wind.
Perhaps. Oh. I think we should still have our guards up.
Yes. Well, who knows? Maybe somebody broke in and has been living there.
Oh, well...
Yes, well, abandoned houses are a fantastic teen hangout, I've heard, so...
Oh, those pesky teenagers.
Yes.
Well, we'll just make extra noise when we go in and cause anyone inside to startle and probably run away.
Sure.
Okay.
The professor has the keys, correct?
Sure.
One of you has the key, yeah.
Okay. Do we want to use this door right here at the back, or do we want to go through the front?
Oh, I say let's go in the front door. That leaves the back door available for them to run out of if you're worried of anyone being inside.
Okay, so you go back round towards the front of the house, back through the thick undergrowth. So by now, your trouser legs or skirts, depending on what you're wearing, are definitely sort of wet from tramping through all this undergrowth. As you make your way back around to the front of the house and back up the steps to the front door, place the key in the lock and hear the click of the lock turning. You notice the door itself looks of an age with the house, but it looks like someone has added several more bolts more recently, both on the inside and the outside of the door. None of them are locked at the moment, but this door has bolts top and bottom now.
Oh, that's interesting. I've never seen someone put so many locks on a door before.
It is very curious.
And on the outside...
And she'll jot that note down.
Are they trying to keep something out or in? And with that, Billy will open the door and then stand back to allow the ladies to enter first, as is polite, of course. That's the only reason.
Indeed. Yes, so...
Begging pots and pans as we enter? Is that the plan?
It's up to you. That's up to you. If you'd like to go in, like, clapping and shouting, you can.
Hello? Is there anyone inside? Don't mind us, just an old man and two lovely young ladies. Nothing to be afraid of.
The typical trio, really.
As you call out, make me a listen check.
All of us?
Anyone who would like to listen.
I don't.
Most definitely.
I don't think I would be listening at all at this point.
I'm just failing everything.
Yep.
Yeah. So yeah, there doesn't seem to be any response to your shouting and calling out. But as you enter inside, you see this this dusty, long hallway. It seems to stretch the length of the house. You can see there are a number of doors leading off it. There are 3 doors on the left-hand side and 3 doors on the right-hand side. It's very dark in here, but you can make out this. There do appear to be light bulbs hanging, and there is a small light switch by the door. This place has been wired for electricity. Very fancy.
I will enter and I will go to turn on the lights.
The lights come on. The bulbs are dim. Not as bright as nowhere near as bright as modern bulbs. These are very low light bulbs, but the electricity seems to be working. Just flicker a bit, a little bit of a flicker, and as you turn the lights on, you hear a little scuttling and scurrying off down the end of the corridor. It's a patter of tiny feet. Great.
Oh. She'll make a comment to Tilly and to Billy. Seems like there might be an infestation of rodents.
Well, that's probably what moved the curtain upstairs.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe they were looking to see if we were bringing cheese.
Maybe. So, you can see that there are, now with the lights on, you can see more clearly the doors off this corridor are all closed. And the corridor itself, you can see there are paintings hanging on the walls. And curiously, most of them seem to be religious in nature. Above all, you see at least half a dozen or so paintings of the Virgin Mary and various saints. But mixed in between that, there's one painting that stands out as looking rather different in not being religious of nature. And there's a large oil painting hanging partway down the corridor in a rather heavy-looking frame.
I'm going to check that out.
A praise, please.
So Cynthia steps forward to check it out. If it was a vision of Tilly, like, diving past the speed appraisal. As the two of you approach the picture, Tilly, this painting is it's clearly very valuable.
Oh, I have to push. I need exact.
Yeah.
I can't believe I failed.
So you examine it more closely, studying over this painting in more detail.
So when I push, that's the purple, or I'm just taking more?
It's just, you roll it again. There's a risk here that something might go wrong.
Okay.
But it does not, and you can see that this painting is indeed, actually, perhaps not quite as valuable as you'd first thought. It's quite well painted, but doesn't appear to be an artist that you'd recognise. Like, doesn't match the style of anyone famous, and it's not signed. And it depicts this strange landscape, this long, empty plain with a figure seemingly walking away from the viewer in it. And as you look at this painting, if you look at it and then turn away from it, you'd almost swear that the figure had moved.
Would I have noticed that too? Since I'm not appraising it, but I am definitely checking it out.
Yeah, like, again, out of the corner of your eye, it almost looked like something in the painting moved. Every time you look at it, you look away, look back. Hang on, were there 3 rocks or 2 rocks? And that tree seems to move a little bit to the left. I think just need to shift ever so slightly. But not much, just almost imperceptible differences.
Are you seeing that as well?
The changes?
Yes.
I'm going to actually investigate the painting, see if maybe there's anything behind it, or if there's a film or something on the frame, I guess.
Okay, so you sort of
seeing if there's any sort of tricks that might be used to give the perception of change in the painting.
Okay, so sort of examining, studying over this painting in more detail. I'm going to ask you to make me the spot hidden, please. Yeah. So doesn't seem to be anything on it that would just looks to be an ordinary painting. Doesn't seem to be anything odd about it. Except when you turn it over, you do see that there is a name written on the back, with a pencil on the back of it. It says W. Corbitt. And so it says W. Corbitt. Just get the date right. 18. Sorry.
No, it's okay.
I did so much for like 5 minutes prep for this game. It says W. Corbitt, 1850.
Oh, Telly, it looks like this might be painted by W. Corbitt, 1850. You see here, and I've got the painting. It's still attached to the wall, but I've got it leaned up and turned slightly. Right here.
Well, if it's painted by Corbitt himself, I'm not entirely interested in it anymore, but good catch.
And painted 3 years before his first lawsuit, I believe. Isn't that correct, Tilly?
Tilly frantically checking paperwork in her pocket.
Having heard them make these comments and concerns about it, Cynthia, what is it you specifically were looking for? You were searching the frame. Is there? I was busy looking at the other artwork? What drew your attention to this one?
Oh, well, and I've placed the picture frame back into its dusty spot so you can't see the change in the wallpaper. Well, it seems that every time we look away from the painting and then look back, very minor changes. Maybe it's the flickering light. Oh, yeah, no, it looks like maybe the breeze is blowing through the tree branches, or the stones are moved, or...
Does this trigger any knowledge of my research into the occult, by chance?
This wouldn't really... Occult is more for sort of symbology and sort of occult teachings and stuff, but looking at the painting itself...
Like subject matter?
The contents of it. Yeah, maybe an occult roll, actually, for that.
Obviously not.
Doesn't really resemble much anything you've much studied before. But as this goes on, you hear, all three of you hear a noise from upstairs. You hear the sound of something scraping and rattling upstairs above you. Maybe a loose window catch, or someone rattling a drawer handle. It sounds like...
A bit loud for a rat.
Uh-huh. Maybe we should come back in the day.
Oh, nonsense. And he will start making his way towards the stairs.
All right, so as Billy starts making his way upstairs, you head down to the far end of the corridor. You see the stairs bend round to the left and take you upstairs into a second corridor that runs along the upper half of the house. Cynthia and Tilly, are you following after him, or are you remaining downstairs?
I'll follow.
I'm not going to be left alone. I just requested that we leave, so I'm going to follow last, but I'm following.
Okay, so as you head upstairs, Billy, you can see off this corridor, you see there's windows on the right-hand side that look out presumably onto the garden, but they are shrouded with curtains. On the left-hand side, through a door that stands half ajar, you can see a bathroom with this a large sort of freestanding bathtub, and you can hear the drip, drip, drip of a leaky tap, just pling into the bathtub. You hear the rattling again. It seems to be coming from a little further down through the first door on the left-hand side. Again, this rattling sound, almost like someone's stuck and trying to escape from something.
Hello, this is private property. Is there someone in there?
No response comes.
Place my hand on the doorknob if it's still rattling to see if I feel, is it the doorknob that's actually in the door being pulled on, or something inside the room?
The door is not locked. There doesn't seem to be anyone pulling on the other side. But... I've seen you opening the door.
Well...
my creepy door noises.
How good is the lighting up here? Is it still dim and flickering, or are we doing better?
It's still dim and still flickering.
Is there any light in the room, or is it all from the hallway?
The lighting appears from just from the hallway. As you open this door, in the room, The bedroom. It doesn't appear to be a particularly large one. There's no light from the outside. The window is boarded up from the inside. And there is a wardrobe, and there is a large cast iron bed frame with no sort of bedding on it. Over at the window, a few of the boards seem to have fallen loose. It doesn't appear to be very well boarded up. And again, you hear the rattling, which seems to be coming from the window.
From the window. Well, I'll push the door all the way open. And look. And appears to be coming from over by the window. And I'll just start walking that way.
Oh, wait a minute.
What?
Didn't someone do something with the window at some point? Aren't windows not a good thing to be around in this house?
Well, what are you worried about, Tilly?
Oh, I'm worried about everything, to be quite frank with you.
I still think you should come back in the morning.
As you're having this conversation, and as Billy heads over towards the window, Billy, I want you to just make me a quick spot hidden here for 1 sec. So, as you head over and as you reach the window, a few things happen, almost all at the same instant. Billy, you hear the scrape of iron moving on wood, and as you sort of look around to see, you see the bed frame is moving, and it is coming flying across the room straight towards you. And as you're doing this, I'd like you to please make me it's an optional, but you have an attempt to try and dodge this.
Mm-hmm.
If you wish.
Absolutely.
So you manage to dodge out the way as this cast iron bed frame just goes flying across the room and smashes through the shuttered window in this breach of broken wood. And as this happens, I need all three of you to make me a sanity roll, because you are clearly seeing things that should not be happening. And this is not normal. So I'd like you all just make me that. Maybe that's
where is that?
Up at the top part of your sheet, you will see sanity on the right-hand side.
Thank you.
It's a very important.
Nope.
Stat.
Nope.
Okay, so Tilly and Billy, both of you lose 1 point of sanity. So if you reduce your current sanity by 1 point there, please.
Which box is that of the 15 boxes under sanity?
The central one. The central one.
The central one. Okay, thank you.
And Cynthia, I'd like you to reduce yours by 3, please.
Oh, 3. Okay, so that's the center one of the 3 big ones on the sanity box.
Yes, the sanity boxes. And Cynthia, you let out a little scream and automatically go lunging backwards out of this room as Billy very narrowly avoids being hit by a flying bed. And there's this brief moment of quiet, and then you hear a noise from downstairs.
I strongly suggest we leave and come back in the morning.
From downstairs, you hear the sound of what sounds like a radio starting up.
Oh no.
Oh, wrong one.
I don't particularly think leaving is an option at this point. I think we're quite well within what we have to be in at this point.
Well, it does seem a little out of sorts from what we've heard. I haven't heard of anyone dying of bed illness. It seems a bit extreme.
Well,
no, but
the
the
bed did
person
certainly go through the window that I warned you about, huh?
No, but the person who had killed themselves had gone mad.
Well, I'm due for a bit of madness, I think, at this point.
And Billy, at this point, is going to take out his flask and take a drink and a little bit of sanity restoration. Anybody?
You know what? If I'm gonna, yes. What is that?
I make it at home.
It's a bit strong.
Was that Billy talking, or was that Tam talking?
No, that's Billy talking.
It's hard to tell.
Yeah, it could be either one.
So you stand up in this bed. You hear the sound of the radio starting up downstairs, and then you hear a rattling coming from the wardrobe.
Oh. Well, Tilly, do I need to be worried about the window again, or shall I check the wardrobe?
I think at this point we should be worried about everything, so do as you please.
Tilly, did you bring your friend that you carry in your purse?
Pardon?
Oh, we all know you carry a gun, Tilly.
Oh, yes. Yes, I did. Does not leave my side, thank you.
Well, please don't shoot me, but
I'll
should
try not to.
should I be attacked by a giant dress or a suit from the wardrobe, please don't hesitate. And I will walk over and
Tilly will pull
Is
out
there
her
a
gun
light
and just
switch
keep
for
it.
the bedroom?
So there is a light switch, but as you look up, you see that the bulb in this room has been smashed. It doesn't seem to be a working light in this room.
so I'm standing back and reaching out so that I can pull it and move backwards quickly. Billy will open the wardrobe.
Okay, so the wardrobe swings open and reveals inside it seems to be empty except for one metal box set in the center of it, and this metal box has been sort of wrapped round with pieces of rope. It's got a couple of belts around it. We sealed it with several knots and layers of rope tied around this like iron strong box.
Are there any markings or anything on it?
You lean over, take a closer look at it. No, the outside of it appears to be sort of I can't remember the word for this kind of cases, but it's metal boxes with sort of latches to hold them shut.
Like a strong box type of thing?
Yeah, like a strong box sort of thing, but with added security if someone has tied many layers of rope and belts around this box.
I would suggest leaving that alone. There is a reason why it is tied closed.
Seconded.
Billy will take his pipe and tap on it 3 times. Tap, tap, tap.
Nothing happens.
Well, nothing answered at least. Well, should I close the wardrobe or leave it open at this point, ladies?
Closed,
I'm
most likely.
concerned that there is a radio on downstairs. We didn't see a radio in the hallway.
Well, would we like to go investigate then?
Of course. So, I mean, keep in mind, it could be that the tubes just took time to warm up and it was powered on when you turned on the light switch. I mean...
Ah, yes, a radio attached to the light switch.
Well, Tilly, I mean, what do you think it is, a ghost? And he'll close the wardrobe.
I wouldn't say a ghost, more like someone who is still in the house that I mentioned may be in the house earlier, but I guess we'll find out, won't we?
No, after you, ladies.
I was standing in the doorway, so I am going to turn around and start walking back, but I'm going to stop at the top of the stairs.
Yeah, you can stop at the top and then I'll kind of take the lead and smush past you.
Okay, so as Tilly takes the lead, as you head back downstairs in this downstairs corridor, the sound of the radio is louder and clearer now. And it sounds like it's coming from a door that is now on your left-hand side, so the closest to the front door, the far end of the house. You hear the sound of music and perhaps a few voices as well, coming from that room.
Well, sounds like a party.
Front door's still open. Did we close the front door?
I don't think we did.
The front door is closed.
Oh. I don't think we closed it, though.
No, I don't think we did. I'm gonna open the front door.
Okay, so Cynthia goes towards the front door. Billy, as you're the last one heading downstairs, I just want you to make me another spot hidden, please.
No.
Whatever it is, you don't see it.
My attention is obviously elsewhere.
As you follow the ladies downstairs. So Cynthia, if you go to the front door to open it, it seems to be locked.
Did either of you lock the door?
No. Billy, do you still have the keys on you?
Do I still have the keys? I would put them in my pocket.
You still have the keys, yes.
I have the keys right here.
The door's locked.
Unlock them, please, Billy.
What? I'll go
Are any of them deadbolts from the inside that don't need a key?
The bolts on the inside are drawn. If you remember from the door, there were bolts on the inside and outside, none of which were drawn when you arrived at the house. Now the bolts on the inside of the door, you can see that they've been drawn shut.
Okay.
I am going to, if I am able to, without keys, open the locks, I will try, but I will move aside for Billy.
Okay, so you draw past the bolts, the door is still locked. Billy?
So I will unlock all locks I can unlock and check to see if there are any bolts that appear to be closed.
There are the bolts on the outside of the door are still closed.
Okay. Is there glass in the door?
No.
Is there glass windows on either side of the door?
No. You know that there's, from your foray around the outside of the house, that there are windows on the ground floor in some of the downstairs rooms. But there are no windows in this bit of the hallway. The lights flicker a little.
I'm going to actually whisper to Tilly. You should go check the kitchen to see if the door's locked on that side.
Are we trying to be sneaky about it?
Can I hear them whispering?
You can hear them whispering. You're all currently standing close together in this hall. And you can hear the radio going on over on the room to one side, but you can't. Other than that, the only noise is occasional scrabble from the wall.
Somebody must have obviously locked it from the inside, gone around through the back, and locked the outside locks so that they could be outside and leave us in. Don't worry, Cynthia. Worst case, we pop out the hinges and remove the door from the other side. But we can go check the kitchen. Do you want to check the radio or the kitchen first? There's nothing to worry about. We can get the door open.
How long would popping hinges take?
Depends on if we could find a hammer Or something that we could use as a hammer. I'm sure there's got to be something in the kitchen, a pot or a pan or something.
Sure. I think the kitchen first. Before we investigate the radio, I think I'd like to make sure we have an exit plan.
And there are also windows. The windows are boarded from the inside, so realize we could always take the boards off.
Sure. All right. Tilly will start kind of stealthily slinking towards the kitchen.
Okay, so Tilly's heading to where you saw the back door. Yeah.
I'm following. Okay. I'm most definitely following Tilly.
Okay, and Billy, you're back by the front door, yes?
I will be following behind them.
Okay, you're all going together.
If I happen to find a lantern or a candle, or I don't know if you'd have it. I guess they'd have a torch back then, possibly. Any kind of.
Electric torches exist, but they're expensive.
Yeah, if I happen to find any other type of lighting source, I would pick it up along the way, just so we.
Okay,
have
I mean
later.
The corridor itself is empty. There are doors leading off it.
Mm-hmm.
But okay, Tilly. Taking the lead, you reach the door at the end of the house where you saw the kitchen door, and as you open it, you swing the door open, and you see it's not actually a kitchen. This one appears to be what seems to be a small sort of utility room, sort of mud room. I guess what would be a utility room before they had utilities. It is there's a sink, appears to be a freestanding like iron stove, and some sacks of coal. You notice that there's some hooks, there's some coats hanging up, and seems to be sort of almost as if it's been abandoned partway through use. Like nothing's been packed up in here.
The coats that are hanging up, do they look like they've been hanging for a long time, or do they look recently put them?
If you take a look over them, they do look like they've been there a while.
Okay.
Everything in here is a bit dusty, and you see that the door here has been secured with, on the inside, with 3 large bolts and 2 locks.
Billy, do you want to have a go at those locks?
Of course. I'll take the keys and...
I want to look around the room and see if I can find any of the cast iron fireplace sets. The poker, the little shovel, and things of that nature.
Okay, so within this room, it doesn't appear to... Like, there's a stove itself, but there isn't really the accoutrements to go with it within this room. If you want to go looking in one of the other rooms, you can.
Not by myself. No.
Okay.
So Billy will pick up you said there was some coal?
Yes, there's some sacks of coal, yes.
Okay. Pick up a couple of smaller bricks, pieces of, the wood, whatever I can find small, and just shove those in my pocket as I head to the door, and I will see if all the locks are locked, or all of them.
They are all locked, yes.
Okay. Any of them that take a key, I would like to see if the key fits. Any of them that I have.
Okay. So you try the keys you have. You have 2 keys, and you manage to get one of the locks undone. But that final lock you do not have a key for.
I'm sorry, ladies. It appears that we do not have the full set of keys. Does the lock that I do not have a key for appear to be the same age or an older style lock, or?
It looks like a fairly recent lock.
Okay.
Fairly new lock.
This one looks rather new as well.
Would you like me to fake surprise?
No, Tilly, we prefer it when you don't fake it.
Excellent.
So you're all sort of crowded into this small mud room, staring at this door.
Are there any storage bins, drawers, or anything like that?
This room, you see this sort of sacks of coal. There's this large stove and things hanging, but it doesn't appear to be much of a storeroom as such. It's just been used for, a mud room. You notice now, as you're standing here, everything seems a little quieter than it was before. And you realise that the radio has stopped.
I am going to peek back through the door we just went through to get into the little mudroom.
Okay, so as you peek back out the door more, I want you to make me a spot hidden roll, please, Cynthia.
Nothing. I failed again.
Nothing's moving out there. But everything seems to have fallen into silence now. And strange now how much sound the radio was making. Everything seems almost unnaturally quiet now. The scrabbling of, you presume, are rats has fallen still. And just looking back at the corridor, you realise the picture is exactly back where it was before you started looking at it. Probably when you put it back, it ended up a little bit wonky, slightly at an angle, but now back exactly how it was when you found it.
They know we're here. They know we're here.
Yep. I am going to look around the room one more time to see if there is anything I can grab.
There's coal, there's coats, but in this room, no weapons or anything. No.
I am going to take one of the coats off the hook. Do they have anything in their pockets? Does it weigh the coat down at all?
Not really. Not much of any input. You find some sort of rummaging through pocket. You find a bit of lint, a ball of string, and one single slightly rusty nail.
Okay. I'm going to hold on to the coat.
Okay, so you hold on to this coat. As Cynthia is rummaging around coat pockets, Billy and Tilly, what are you doing?
Tilly is trying to not freak out, I think.
Billy's going to walk out and look at that painting, and he's going to take the coal from his pocket and just put a couple of marks on the edge of the frame. Not anything super large, just put a couple of marks on it.
Okay, so as you do this, as you're looking at this painting and as you're studying this, I need you to make me a power roll, please, Billy. You can see it's up on the top part of your sheet.
Ah, I see it, thank you.
Okay. Not telling you what happens next. Yeah. You mark the frame of this painting with a couple of marks of coal.
Okay.
And so, as Billy steps out of the corridor and as Cynthia is rummaging around pockets, Tilly, what are you doing?
Tilly will probably just observe Cynthia rummaging through pockets and just kind of stay close to a corner.
Okay. And it's at that moment that you hear a sound as the radio starts up again. Louder now from the front of this house. You hear the radio start up again, and you hear again the rattling sound from upstairs. And then you hear an echoing sound, a sort of echoing, rattling, scraping noise coming from the door across the corridor from the mudroom doorway you're in. You hear the scraping of rusted bolts being drawn back.
Tilly? Something's opening the door over here.
Yes, I know. Thank you.
And I think that is where we're going to take a quick break.
Oh, good.
Yes, please, thank you.
Sure.
I am panicking so much right now.
All right, so our 3 investigators, Billy, Cynthia, and Tilly, have been creeping round the old Corbitt place. Had a narrow run-in with a bed. And now,
that sounds so bad. An old man and 2 young ladies had a narrow run-in with a bed.
Indeed.
Tess.
And now, Cynthia is going through some pockets, and Billy was graffitiing paintings. They heard the radio start up from one of the other rooms. They start up my radio. And they heard the scrape of bolts being drawn back from a door. And then there's a kind of flicker from the lights, and everything goes completely black.
Tilly immediately grabs for Cynthia.
Everything goes dark.
Wait, Tilly's grabbed Cynthia from behind?
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm screaming at the
He has grabbed you.
If you start screaming, Tilly just...
I assume...
Tilly, you feel a pair of hands grab hold of you in panic.
We're both just...
There's 2 people who grabbed hold of you in panic.
I will attempt to light one of my matches for lighting my pipe to see if I can get some light.
There's this... Tilly, you see this of light from out in the hall, and you feel as the grip of one of the 2 pairs of hands disappears. And
Cynthia,
you see in this
have you grown more hands?
light, you can see Billy's face illuminated out in the hallway. But you can't really... Billy, the light doesn't really stretch very far. You can't see much beyond this small area of light around you. You heard the shriek and scream back from over at the mudroom. What would you like to do?
I'm going to stretch my arm out with the match while I still can and take a look and see if I can spot any. Is the other door open is what I'm looking to see?
Yes. You see there's 2 doors open now. The door to the mudroom and the door opposite is also open.
Okay. Tilly, do you have your little friend in your hand?
Yes. Yes, I do.
The door across...
I'm going to move behind Tilly.
The door across the hall has opened, and I'm afraid the light is about to disappear.
How many matches have you got, Billy?
Good question.
I would probably have 5 or 6, probably 5 left at this point.
Okay.
How many...
So now you're back in darkness again.
How many bullets do I have?
Loaded in the gun?
Sure, it's a revolver, yeah.
What type of revolver?
You've got, I think... It's a 20... It's only a small one, I believe. It's only a...
So what is that usually, like 6, 4?
It would, if it's a 22, you might have 7. If it's a 32, you would have 6.
It is a 22, and you have 6 bullets loaded in it.
Cool, that's what I thought. All right,
Yes.
Cool. Great. Do I have any extras or just the 6 that I have loaded?
I think you possibly got... Would you carry... If you carry some spares, you possibly got some more, whether you can reload them faster. Another question.
Yes. Yeah, I'll probably have like a couple, 2 in my purse.
But yes, everything has gone dark again
Lovely.
as the match burns down.
I'm going to make my way into the mudroom. Please don't shoot me, Tilly.
Creak of footsteps on floorboards as something moves towards you in the darkness, Tilly.
Do they correspond with my foot movements?
Yeah.
Okay. That's me, Tilly. Don't shoot.
Make me a listen check, Billy.
Was that Tilly or Billy?
Billy.
Okay.
Why did you do this? As you're moving forward, you do hear definitely a second set of footsteps somewhere behind you. Creeping. But keeping almost pace with your own in the darkness as you feel your way forwards towards the mudroom where you know you left the ladies.
Might I suggest putting some coal in the stove and we will light it and see if we can get some light, because I think there's something out here with me.
I will feel around with my feet towards the stove and I will put the coals in. I've still got a hold of Tilly's shirt.
By now, Billy, you've felt your way forwards into the mudroom. So all three of you together in this room, you can hear now definitely something creeping around outside. The sounds of footsteps on the floorboard.
Does the door open inward to the room we're in?
Inwards, yes.
Closes the door.
The door closed. You're still in darkness. But you three of you are close enough together that you can sort of place hands on each other.
I have the coat in one hand, and I'm and that hand's also holding onto Tilly's shirt, and I'm using my other hand to put the coal into the stove still.
Okay.
And
Billy, we can use a piece of this coat as tinder, and actually there was a whole bunch of flint in the pocket. I pull that out.
Awesome.
You pull out the fluff and pocket lint.
Very good. I will light another match and see if we can light the coal.
I want you to make me a look roll. See if you can get this lit first time.
Apparently not.
Trying some of the lint catches, but you don't manage to light the coal, and by the time the match is burnt down,
do you have some
smolders out.
Do you have some paper?
Yes, I have a bunch of paper, and in the bag that was hanging from my shoulder, I pull out a sheet of paper.
Okay. Go for it. Try again. You've got 4 matches left.
Mm-hmm.
3 matches left.
Do I have a pocket knife or anything?
Oh, just let me do it, please.
Yeah. I say you've probably got a pocket knife. Yes.
Okay. Right, well, I wouldn't be able to do it in the dark. Never mind. I will hand the match to Tilly and say, "May I have your firearm, please?"
Sure. And she'll swap off.
Okay.
And attempt to light the coals.
Okay, make me a look roll. Let's see if you're luckier here. And
yes. Okay. Good.
the coal, you managed to get enough of the paper and enough of the fluff and pocket lint burning that now you've got the stove burning and you've got 2 matches left.
Fine work, Tilly. Here's your gun, please.
I work well under stress.
I hand her gun back to her.
So you can see in the glow of this small stove, the little room you're in, with its coats and boots, and the locked door to the outside, and the door leading further into the house.
We were only able to unlock one of the locks on the door, correct?
Yes, there is still one of the locks locked on the door.
Would any of you know how to unlock those without a key?
Maybe. Who's asking?
I want to get out of here.
Sure. Yeah, I can probably do that.
Okay, so if you're attempting to try and pick a lock, that's under locksmith. So make me an attempt to try and pick this lock and break your way out of this house.
Aww.
No, as I said before, you can push a roll at a risk of something going wrong. And in this case, I'd say what you're risking here is probably permanently jamming this lock.
Tilly, let me try. I'm not a locksmith, but the guy that is behind me using me as an avatar is, so maybe the DM will give some leniency.
Only if you describe in detail what you're doing.
Sadly, this is one of those cases where you as the player might have the skills, but your character
does not. Yes.
Does not.
No, I'm joking.
I'm looking for in the bits and bobs of coal and wood. I'm looking for a longer piece to so that we can maybe create a torch.
Okay, so it's just really coal piled up in here. There doesn't seem to be much in the way of wood. The only wood in here is skirting board, really. As I said, there were other doors leading off the main corridor, which may have held other stored items in here. But it's just mainly coal and coats.
I think our best bet's to try and pop the hinges, and again, we need something a little firm to pop the hinge bolts out with.
You said this is an old-fashioned stove, cast iron stove? Does it have the tray on top that's removable?
I'm not sure quite what you mean here. I've never seen a stove with a tray on top.
It's like a little plate that you would take off and you would place your cast iron like skillet or kettle or something there. It's just a cover for the hole when you weren't using it to cook.
Okay, I'll say yes. Yeah. I'll go with this is clearly probably an American stove and not an English stove, so I'll trust your...
I'm not going to say it. Actually...
Actually what?
Actually, there are, because some of those were brought over in that style, so...
All right, I am going to grab the plate, the cover, and pass that over to Billy.
Great. Now, if only we had something like a nail.
Oh, I have one here. And I pass him the rusty nail.
Oh, Cynthia, you truly are amazing. So is this a two hinge, 3-hinge, or 4-hinge door?
It's a door.
How lucky do I have to be?
Okay, so you're trying to pop the lock open on this.
The hinge bolts on the side.
Yeah.
Take the nail, use the thing, hammer it, and pop the hinge bolt up.
Okay, this would be a locksmith check. I'll give you a bonus for having these tools at hand. So that means you get to roll the purple one, the bonus die.
The purple one, okay.
But locksmith, unless you're skilled at locksmith in character, you may not really know what to do here.
Yep. This should be interesting. Well, it was an excellent idea. I read about it in a journal paper once.
Yeah. So Tilly, you can see, looking at what Billy's doing, that that's not how you do it. He's taking the wrong approach. Like, he's just kind of hitting it on the side. Like, no. See, Tilly, with actually some, experience in locksmithing, you can definitely see that's.
While they are doing that, I am going to press up against the door to keep the door closed, just in case.
Okay, nothing's pushing from the other side. It all seems Yes, I'm going to give you. I'm going to say, if anyone wants to take one final attempt to unlock this door, I'll consider this the push roll. I'll give you the, and I'm going to say, there's a permanent risk of making this door unopenable in some way or another, which I would probably leave Tam to elaborate on. I don't know how that even works. I don't know. Door magic.
Tilly, you seem to be better at this kind of thing. Would you like to try?
I suppose, but it's already taken quite a beating, so we'll see. And I guess we'll push with the risk of
So you've got the bonus from some sort of the makeshift tools you've got.
Oh, cool.
You've got a bonus stat.
Purple one.
Yes.
Cool.
But no, something in this door, whether it's you or whether it's the door itself, short of, getting a full, proper, actual locksmith out here with all the tools or, a battering ram, this door is not opening.
Well, it was a good try. I suppose we're going to have to go for the front door.
We can break some glass too if necessary, right?
And Billy will ask to take the cover from the stove back from Tilly, because it would make a nice club.
What are the boots made out of? Leather?
Yeah. I'm going to go with leather. So you're heading out back into the corridor?
Yeah. No, not yet. I want to take the boots. I am going to take the jacket that I'm holding, and I am going to try to dismember the jacket and wrap the top half of the boot, because they're tall boots, correct?
Yes.
Ish. I'll wrap the top half of it and catch it on fire with the stove.
Okay. Yes, so makeshift yourself a flaming torch.
Yes.
I think we've accidentally added the "You expect the gadget does Cthulhu."
Wait, what? I didn't hear that.
She said, "Go gadget boots."
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, that's what I want to try to do.
Okay, so yeah, also you managed to makeshift yourself this flaming boot torch.
I'm holding it by the toe.
By the toe. Okay. So, holding this flaming boot torch, who's taking the lead out into the corridor?
Billy will give a couple of swings with the lid from the stove and go, "All right, Tilly, open the door." Tilly, please open the door. Tilly, would you please?
Yes, sorry, yes.
Are you okay, Tilly?
Yes, I'm fine. Until you open the door.
And I'll walk out with the...
with boot torch and weapons raised.
She didn't love the idea of opening that door.
Stepping out away from the light and warmth of your little stove that's burning, you step out into the main corridor of the house. And you can see the light of the torch, sort of shadows flickering and moving. You can see the dark entrance directly across from you. This doorway. And you can see in the light of the boot torch, you can just see the flickering start of a staircase leading down. Other than that, the doors off the corridor are all closed.
Is the radio still playing?
The radio is not playing.
Let's
The lights are all
door.
out.
I am going to use my other hand to attempt to close the door to the downstairs.
The door is closed. You can see now that on this door, on the outside of it, there are 5 bolts. Don't appear to be any on the inside, but there's 5 bolts on the outside.
Shall we lock those, ladies?
Yes.
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 Shoo, 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 shoo. So you draw the bolts shut. And then you hear the as the door to the boot room swings shut.
I am screeching just a little bit. I jump, but I'm still holding firm to the boot torch. Let's go into one of the rooms with the window.
And you hear the radio start up again. The lights are still all out.
Can we find that radio and smash it?
I was going to suggest, is the radio something we should go towards or away from? Maybe it's an invitation.
Your guess is as good as mine.
I'm not going anywhere alone, but if that's where you want to go.
Can we tell which door the radio is behind?
Yes, it sounds like it was coming from you could hear it when you were up near the front door, and it sounded like it was coming from the door that was sort of closest to the front door, sort of towards the front of the house.
Okay. Billy's going to look at the Tilly and Cynthia. Do they look nervous, or... I know Cynthia's nervous. How does Tilly look at the moment?
Tilly looks somewhere in between. She's okay, but she's not loving it.
Billy's going to straighten his jacket. Well, I'll get the door then. And walks up to the door, places his hand on it, but pauses. Counts to 3, and then does it swing inward or outward?
Inwards. I said into the room.
Does the knob turn?
Yes.
He's going to turn the knob and just swing the door wide and stand there with his cast iron lid in his hand.
So you can see ahead of you. You can see this. Looks to be a living room. You see a couple of chairs securely set up. You can see this large radio. At the time, this big wooden frame radio is playing this crackly tune.
Could you hum the tune for us? I think it's important. Just joking.
Can't hear that?
No, not at all. It's lovely. It's lovely.
No. You hear this tune. You can also see that all the surfaces and sideboards of this room are covered with a clutter of objects. Once again, you see there are paintings of saints, statues of the Virgin Mary, more crucifixes than any place outside of a Catholic church really has right to have in one place. The windows, the 3 windows, all of them boarded up from the inside. And the radio sort of sat at one end. And as Billy is gone forward into looking at this room, Cynthia and Tilly. For Cynthia, I presume you're close to Billy and casting light with this torch.
Yeah, I'm standing just... if he's gone into the room, I'm going to stand just inside the door so that the light can be in the hallway as well.
Okay, so at the back, Tilly, I'd like you to make me a spot hidden, please. Tilly, what you see is as you see the lights, sort of Cynthia focusing this flaming torch forward into the room that Billy has gone into, you're left almost in mostly darkness in the corridor. And as you're left there, you start to see something. At first you think it's almost a trickle of damp running down one of the walls. This arc thread of liquid coming from upstairs. Click, down onto the floor. And then more and more, you see this dark liquid that seems to be running down one of the walls of the main corridor of the house.
I do not enjoy the burden of seeing everything. Not fun.
And so you watch this more, you can see drops getting closer now, as it's trickle across the ceiling, a drop falls onto the back of your hand. And there's a flickering torchlight. You can see that this dark liquid is, in fact, a dark reddish colour.
It's raspberry jam. It's raspberry jam.
Yeah, sure.
And
would you like me to fake surprise?
like a sanity roll, please.
I would love to. I want nothing more than to go insane. Yep, alright, cool.
Okay, so in response to this, you're going to lose 4 points of sanity here.
Yeah, cool.
Oh no.
Hang on, let's see how Cynthia doing for sanity. Where are you at?
I lose
Okay.
4 points.
Yes, 4 points. That's lost. That brings you.
That
Are
brings
you
me
down
down
on
to 35, I believe, at this point.
35. That sounds. Yeah. Okay.
She's lost a total of 5 points.
But not all in one go.
No, not
Still
all
got a
in one
little
go.
to lose before thing. But yeah, you, the rest of you hear this, like, this. Well, this sound of that sort of sound as Tilly witnesses this. Tilly, you back away a little from this wall, sort of back up against the opposite wall of the corridor, and you find yourself with the back to the painting that you've been looking at earlier. And as your back touches against this painting, you feel what's the touch of a hand against the back of against the small of your back for an instant. Almost as if something had reached out of the painting itself. Just for a moment, a brief instant.
Tilly, are you okay? Why don't you come in here?
Yes, okay. Tilly will follow. Just think I saw blood, that's all. Nothing out of the normal for this house, it seems.
Blood?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Okay, get in here.
Yes.
As soon as she comes in, I'm shutting the door, and I'm looking for something to replace the boot torch. It hasn't been burnt down completely, but it eventually.
Yeah. Well, there is furniture in here, and there are there's wooden furniture, and there's a lot of wooden ornaments, so most of them are rather religious in nature.
No candles, though.
There are candles, yes, there are candles. Set up on several surfaces. That would have been good to start with.
Let's say with all this religious stuff and no candles, something weird's going on.
No, there's candles. Yes. But if you guys choose to replace your torch.
I will start lighting those candles with the torch.
Yeah.
So
you take your flaming books. You're mostly burnt down like burning boots.
I'm not bringing them and I'm not like swiping with the boat. I'm picking up the candles and hitting
I know.
Jeez.
Stab myself in the face.
I haven't decided to burn the place down yet.
Yeah. So as you're sort of lighting these with your you've now got a flickering circle of candles around you.
Is there anything with all this religious symbology or layout or the way things are arranged that triggers my...
Well, I'm gonna say, as you now see better, now you've got a more stable light source than the burning boot. You can see that something appears to have been scrawled on the inside of of the boards of one of the windows, and you can see there's this crude symbol drawn on the inside of the walls. So I'll show it to you here for the benefit of our viewers, and I also will share the handout with you. So it appears to be this eye encircled by 3 sort of triangular symbols. It's been scrolled on the inside of the wall. Billy, make me an occult roll, please. Yeah, you don't know what this is. Yeah, no. Looks occult.
Oh yes, that's.
But you can't quite place it.
I've seen that same symbol on the back of cars as stickers. I have no idea what it means, though.
Yeah, you can see from this room. You can see there is a doorway sort of leading onwards into a second room that leads off this room. You can see the shadows of a dining table in there, and you can smell something. This slight smell of must and rotting coming from through that door.
Are any of the candles in some kind of a holder that we could carry them without getting, wax treatments?
Yes, there are.
Billy will pick one up and go over to Tilly. Tilly, are you okay? Here, have a candle. Are you all right?
Thank you. Yes, thank you. This is actually quite nice. Yes, I just think I saw blood in the hallway, quite a bit of it, and I don't like that. So.
Is it still on her hand? Did she wipe it off, or?
You look down at your hand, Tilly, and your hand is clean.
I didn't wipe it off, but it doesn't seem to be there anymore, which is quite fortunate, isn't it?
May I look at your hand, Tilly?
Sure. So,
is it like there was anything on it, or is it just...
Her hand looks fine. Perhaps a bit of smudge of coal on it from all your fiddling around with the stove and things. But no, her hand looks clean.
Well, it looks fine, Tilly. I don't know what it was.
Should we just try to open the window?
Yes, I think we should just leave.
Are you sure? I mean, there's still a bit to find out what's going on here, and nobody's actually been hurt.
No, but doors unlocking by themselves and doors locking by themselves and shutting by themselves and shaking boxes. I am done. I think I'm gonna switch to romance novels.
Well, speaking of romance novels, I am the one who had a bed thrown at him, and I'm still willing to keep going. Are you sure?
I am sure.
All right. Using the lid off of the stove, I'd like to see if I can pry a board loose from the window.
Okay. So as you sort of using this lid as a lever, I'm going to give you a bonus die here. But I need you to make me a strength roll with the bonus die. Okay, as you feel this board splintering off, I do need you to make me another power roll.
So can I ask, what are the power
this
rolls?
lingering desire in the back of your head, Billy, but it's just sort of there. It's some sort of tingle in the back of your mind, sort of almost a whisper. As you can pry this board aside, you can see a glimpse of the dark night outside, and this little thought in the back of your head stirs. You just have this sudden urge to go down. It's uncanny, really. Like, just for a moment, you feel this thought flicker through your mind. And then it's gone.
Mama was asking a question. What exactly does a power roll mean?
That means that you are rolling your power stat. And it's usually used, to utilize arcane abilities or to, combat such arcane abilities. It's also your strength of will. Think of it as almost a combination of wisdom and charisma, I'd say, in terms of how it's used.
So Billy will take that one board down and turn around and go, "Now, ladies, are you sure? We could go investigate down in the basement."
No. Please, let's just not right now. And we came here kind of spontaneously. The only person who knows we're here is Mr. Knott.
Tilly, what do you think? Should we go investigate more, or are you really ready to give up so soon?
And as you look around, whilst you're busy talking to Cynthia and prying boards from this window, you can't see Tilly anymore.
Tilly?
She's gone.
Tilly?
Hello?
Tilly. You hear voices calling out at you, and you sort of jerk to your senses, and you find yourself reaching for the bolts on the door, on the cellar door. One of them's already drawn back, and you've got one in your hand.
Tilly.
And as you hear your friends back calling you, you're standing in the darkness. You can hear them calling you back from towards the living room.
She had a candle with her. Is the door to our room open? The door that we were in, because we closed it behind us.
That door is closed. But there's like an open doorway leading through into the dining room.
Okay. On
one side. Tilly, you don't recall quite how you've got here. Your candle seems to have been blown out along the way.
Of course.
I still have the boot torch, and I'm going to just go through the door that I had closed.
With smoldering remains of a boot.
Well, at the bottom of the boot, there's like solid wood, so.
Yeah.
I'm just
presenting this image in my mind for future references.
I'm going to
like a flaming boot.
Tilly, I've got the door open now, and I'm peeking down the hallway. Tilly.
You can see Tilly, though the vague, shadowy outline of someone at the cellar door. Tilly, what are you doing?
I am undoing the bolts.
No, Tilly, no. Let's leave, please.
Tilly is undoing the bolts for the cellar.
Tilly, you've come back to your senses now. You are.
So before she came back to her senses, she had one bolt undone, and she was starting to undo the next.
Yeah. So by now you've got two bolts undone, and she sort of blinked to your senses, and you can see Cynthia still holding a smoldering boot sole.
So I blinked to my senses, and then I just almost mechanically just redo the bolts that I had undone.
Billy, back in the living room, as Cynthia sort of steps out to call after Tilly, through the pried off boards, you see the flicker of something moving outside. It's a shadow that seems across the outside of the window. Something moving around the outside of the house. And you hear scratching and scrabbling from within the walls. This whisper of a voice, please, help me, help, let me out, help.
Where are you? You hear Billy start saying, "Where are you?" quite loudly.
It sounds like it's coming from beneath you.
Do I hear it, or is it just Billy who's hearing it?
You can't hear it. You can just hear Billy's voice.
Where in
Billy, I'm right here. Tilly, come back, please, Tilly, and let's leave. Please.
I wasn't speaking to you, Cynthia. I'm talking to the person yelling at me from the floors.
Tilly will just go and grab Cynthia's arm and say, I don't think I have control of my faculties. Please, just take me wherever we're needing to go.
I take her back in. I close that door, and knowing that door was closed, I go and I close the other door. I close it. I don't even look inside, and I go to
nope.
I'm noping. I'm noping the hell out of there. The window's completely unboarded now.
One board's off.
One board's off.
Oh no, I'm going to start using my womanly power.
I'm gonna try and take the boot from you. The smoldering boot.
Right now, it's just the smoldering soul of this boot.
Cynthia, give me your soul. Come on.
I not looking. I've got one hand on the thing. I'm gonna pass him the soul of the boot, not my personal soul, but the soul of the boot, and pass it to him. But I'm not looking, so I let go of whatever, and I'm use both hands now to start pulling boards off the window.
Okay, so you're starting to pull boards off this window. And as you do, you can hear the rattling upstairs again, and the whole house seems to shudder as you start pulling these boards free. And now you hear it, Cynthia, this voice. Help! Please, help! Help! Please help!
I do this for a minute, and then I start pulling. I don't write horror, but I write mystery. No, I want out. Nobody knows we're here except for the person who hired us.
So Cynthia's madly wrenching boards from this window. Make me a strength roll, Cynthia, just to see how long this is going to take you. Yeah, this is going to take you a while.
Tilly, come help me.
Quite well hammered in. You're getting splinters in your hands as you sort of start wrenching boards from this door. And as you do so, you see something moving on the outside of the house. You see this almost a shape moving fast and swift outside the window, and the scrape and scrabble of claws.
It's just a cat. Let's go.
Is there anything around the room that can be used to make this process go a little faster? Maybe.
As in sort of to help lever and smash this door, there is a poker near the fireplace. If you want to use it as a lever.
Sure, we'll do.
In fact, actually, maybe a spot hidden. Actually, there might be something else you can use.
Yes. Oh, okay.
Okay, well. A fumble as you look around. You see this poker, then you get distracted by something else. You see a knife.
Oh no!
Lying beside the poker on the hearth. Looks quite a strong blade. Looks quite useful. For animals. And that's
out of character. Please don't kill me.
She's already got a gun.
I don't think I could control that.
Yeah, so you found the perfect tool. This is very useful looking knife.
Lovely. I'll take the knife then.
Okay.
And I will use it to try to help cut the boards.
Well, as you pick this knife up,
yeah.
You feel it start to twist in your hands, twisting round. You start pointing this way, and then it's pointing back at you. And this knife is moving of its own accord. You can feel it twisting and moving in your hands. And as you feel this moving, I need you to make me another sanity check, please, Tilly. And also, I need to just double check. What's everyone's dex?
40.
40
I have
for
a
Bill.
50.
50 for Cynthia. What's your dex, Tilly? And did you fail that sanity check? Yes, you did.
My dex is a 60.
Okay, you only lose 2 points of sanity.
Sure.
Only.
As you this thing, your sanity sort of being chipped away at slowly and slowly. Which I think what we're on here now. Oh, hang on, are we on a? You're on a 33. Okay, so Tilly, bit by bit, your sanity has been chipped away at over the course of your experiences in this house. Like, things are not right. Things are just going really, really badly. And as this is going on, and as things are mounting around you in increasing layers of insanity here. Let me check if you get. Yes.
We've been there for like an hour.
You have lost enough insanity in one go here. You are now indefinitely insane in this situation. Holding this twisting and turning knife in your hand. I want you to roll me 1d10, then roll me another d10.
I would love nothing more than to do that for you, Tiz. There you are.
Okay. So, let's see what we've got here. So, this panic and this fear sort of take over your mind, and actually, you know what? That's a boring one. I'm overruling that one. Keep a fear. And you know deep down, you know that this is all a trick. This is all a ploy. These people have lured you to this house. They are playing tricks on you. They are moving paintings. They are making strange noises. And they are trying to make you panic. And this is their fault. These two people are to blame for everything that is going on here. And be nice and say for the next 6 rounds, you are in this state of paranoia. Nobody here can be trusted. Everything is a trick. Whatever they say to you, you can't trust what they're saying. This makes no sense. And, well, since Cynthia's prying off the boards, Billy, you see that Tilly appears to have picked up a knife. And is now holding this knife and is looking at you with this distrustful expression. Tilly, you can still feel this knife is moving in your hand. It's trying to sort of wrest its way out of your grip. And I need you to make me a strength roll here, please. Okay, so what happens here is, Tilly, it is your turn to act. You have a moment to act as this knife comes flying out of your hand.
Uh-huh.
And it's now in the air in the room. You can see this rusted knife blade in the air. And Billy, you see this happening. I need you to make me a sanity roll, please. This is not normal knife behavior.
Not normal
Cynthia?
knife behavior, yeah.
You only lose 1 point of sanity, Billy. I'm going to say you lose 1 point of Billy. But, yes, but Tilly, in your paranoid state, this knife having flown free of your hand, there's still a poker on the ground now, though. What would you like to do? Oh, and you've got a gun.
Yes, I do. Can I try to get the knife back from the air?
Yeah, you can. I think I'm going to ask you to make me a fighting brawl check, please. It should be down with the F for fighting. No, you don't manage to go. This knife is flying round through the air. It is moving and twisting in the air. You're trying to grab it out the air. Cynthia, as you're busy prying boards off, you hear this commotion going on. What are you doing, Cynthia?
I stop for a minute to look at what's going on.
Make me a sanity roll, please. If you...
Mm-hmm.
You lose, that's 2 points of sanity lost there for Cynthia. Luckily you are of a slightly more saner constitution than Tilly.
I see what she's doing.
You see this flying knife in the air and Tilly, like, trying to get it.
I'm just going to avoid the knife and Tilly's situation altogether. I want to get the hell out of there. Do I see the poker as well on the floor?
You see a poker on the ground, yes.
I am going to grab that and see if maybe that'll help me get the boards off the window.
Okay, so using the poker, you're prying boards from this window. Make me another strength roll a bonus die. Let's see if you can get them off on this round, or if it's going to take you a little longer to do this.
Strength with a bonus?
Yes, strength with a bonus. Oh, that bonus was a very lucky bonus there, because that is just a fail rather than a fumble, which it would have been otherwise. But I see in your panic, you're perhaps not getting quite the right angle. There's a lot going on. Billy, it's your turn. There's a flying knife in the air.
Until he's chasing
after it. What would you like to do? Until he's chasing after it.
Tilly, leave the knife alone. You're going to get hurt. No response? I'm going to attempt to stop Tilly from going after the knife before she gets hurt.
Okay, you're going to try and grab... Are you trying
I'm
to...
going to just try and grab her arms and get her attention.
Tilly, are you trying to resist this attempt to being grabbed?
Yes.
And the key question is, are you trying to dodge out the way of it, or are you trying to, like, wrestle back and fight back against it?
Dodge.
Okay. In which case, Billy, roll me a fighting brawl, and Tilly, roll me a dodge.
Whew. Love it. Well.
Okay. Billy, you've got Tilly held secure. You've got her held. Cynthia is busy pulling boards. Cynthia and Billy, both of you roll me a luck roll. Let's see who's the lucky one in this situation. Okay, so Billy, you've just got Tilly held secure, and then you see the knife come flying through the air towards you. You can make an attempt to dodge out the way of it if you wish.
Yes, I think I will.
Yes.
Not very well though. I have a, I have a meat shield. Does that count?
You have a meat.
I would not use her as a shield. I would not do
that. So as this knife comes flying over and strikes you in sort of the meaty part of your shoulder, and then stabs its way out again. That's 3 points of damage there for you, really. You should see hit points at some point on your sheet, and
right, it does.
Yes.
Done.
So luckily, it is neither a major wound, and you're not dying yet. So yeah, you've just been, this flying knife stabs into you. Tilly, Billy has grabbed hold of you. He's now being stabbed by the knife, but you knew he was up to something, and now he's grabbed you. No. What would you like to do?
I'll continue to try to get out of his grasp.
Yeah, because you can't trust him. He is up to something, and he's just grabbed hold of you.
Yes.
Okay. Let's say here, resolve this. I can't remember how to escape from.
Tilly, be still! I'm trying to save you, and your damn knife is attacking me.
You're just trying to use me as a meat shield. I know what's happening right now.
If I was using you as a shield, it wouldn't have cut me, Tilly.
Well, you're just bad with shields.
You're making no sense, Tilly. Have you gone insane?
No, are you?
Will you guys please stop fighting and come help me open this damn window?
Mom and Dad, stop.
I think here I'm gonna ask for either Dex or fighting roll from you, Tilly, and either fighting roll or strength from you, Billy. Because I can't remember the top of my head what the right one is.
What if we both fail?
If you both fail, I think in this case, we'll keep status quo, and you're both still grabbed onto each other, but now you're just kind of wrestling and fighting your way back and forth.
Just like in this weird dance.
Hey, we're dancing!
Somebody's shirt has ripped.
The candle has fallen over. Several of the things on the side table been knocked.
Candles have been knocked over. Has anything caught
Yes, they
fire?
have. Not yet, but you see things starting to smolder. Cynthia, it's your turn.
I am continuing to try to open that window.
Okay, come on, push this. Make this another attempt. Push onwards. Make me that strength roll, still with a bonus die from your poker.
With a bonus die?
Yeah. No. Your poker seems to have been hotly jammed between the boards. These boards seem very strongly nailed on. It's almost as if they're resisting being pulled out. Billy, back to the wrestling partners.
I was going to say I have one
Yes?
question. One board
Yes?
was removed. How much
Yes.
space? Enough room for me to crawl through, but maybe not other people?
You could definitely have a hand at squeezing through.
Okay.
Okay, Billy, wrestling back and forth.
Tilly,
like to
Tilly, calm down. What is the problem? You're going to get hurt. Where's the knife now?
The knife is still in the air, and you can see your blood dripping from its blade.
Cynthia, help me with Tilly. She's... I don't know. Help!
No, help me get this window open.
The knife twists back and forth. You see it aiming its way towards Cynthia.
Watch out for the knife!
And the knife...
He says, watch out, so I'm gonna duck.
Okay, make me a dodge roll, please, Cynthia. Oh. Okay.
I do not like that look on your face.
Oh no, that's not too bad. So the knife strikes into Cynthia. That is that's another 4. That's a 4 points of 4 points of damage towards Cynthia as this knife like into you and stabs back again. And
4 points.
Here now, the chuckling almost spreading through the house itself. The house rattles once more, doors and windows and everything. And as this knife jabs into you, you hear the radio start up again. But, the lights are still off, you're still in darkness. A candle's been knocked over. You can see this flicker of fire start to spread across doilies and decorative ornaments. Smoke starting to rise.
Billy, come help me with these windows, please.
Tilly, it's your turn. He's not letting go.
Well, oh no. Tilly is... Okay, so she's paranoid in general or specifically of Cynthia and Billy?
Mostly of them, yes. You're pretty sure it's them. They are the ones behind this.
I'm going
trap.
to try to go towards the radio noise and find other people to help me get away from these crazy, awful people.
So you're trying to escape Billy? Yeah, you're in the same room as the radio.
Oh, yes.
Ooh. Trying to...
What effect is the radio having on us at all?
It's just playing some jaunty background music.
Lovely.
It's a nice waltz.
You can, as well as the radio, you can hear the chatter of what sounds like people in the next room over, where Cynthia had closed the door.
Yes.
It sounds like they're having a party in there.
No.
I'll try to go that way then.
Oh, no.
Okay, so trying to escape from Billy, I'm gonna say, Dex or fighting brawl, and Billy to hold on to her.
Yes.
Strength or fight brawl or.
Yeah, I can't remember which one it is. I'll check out the rules afterwards. There's someone from the comments will go, "You're doing it." Oh, 2 successes.
No.
Rolling. What did you use? Strength. I'll say you're halfway out. Like you are most of the way free. So you.
Tilly, where are you going?
You've still got one arm. You can reach one arm towards the dining room door.
I'm trying to get to the other people who will probably be more helpful than the rest of you.
I would like to try and get her gun away from her.
You waited a while to do that, huh?
I was busy trying to save you. You're trying to leave now. I want the gun for another reason.
Get to that moment. Cynthia, first of all, what are you doing? Are you
I am going to continue to try to open that bloody...
Okay.
One of the things I want to try first, I want to hit the board first with the thing to see if maybe I can get it to crack, and then I want to pry it off.
Okay. You've still got your bonus die, and you've still got strength unless you've got another skill that you think is more suited to it, but I don't think you got in anything like wood crafting or house repair. Look, you can never rule out anything as being a skill. Anthropology is its own skill. But I don't believe you've got anything more suited, so that...
I'm making a note for future reference. Attempt to carve the piece of wood into a door. Open the door and exit.
That only works when you're already in
I don't
space.
think I have anything better.
I make my own door.
Yes!
Yes! Yes, the boards are off. Yes! You can see the night outside. You have a way of exit. Billy, you say you were going for Tilly's gun.
Yes.
You're probably gonna have to let go of her to go after her gun, maybe.
And I'm okay with that. If she's trying to leave the room and get out of the room with the knife, I'm okay with it. I'm more worried about the knife at the moment.
Okay, let's say speed here, because the trick is going to be getting you as fast before she realizes what you're up to.
Okay.
Make me a dex here. And Tilly, you're very much focused on trying to get here, but I'll give you an attempt to... Actually, maybe spot hidden, Tilly. Let's see if you notice what he's going for here. Over your desire to go and make friends.
I figure I'm either going to get the gun or she's going to shoot me.
No. So, Billy, you're free from police grip. Billy, you have the gun.
All right.
Also, remember, the room is now catching fire.
The room, yes. Now the fire is spreading across the surfaces. The house is starting to catch fire. And the knife twists round in the air, and as Billy has to go, it stabs forward towards Billy again. Doesn't seem to be going for Tilly.
Who's up?
Okay, so Billy, if you want to try and dodge away from the knife, you can do.
I want to shoot the knife.
Okay.
I'm going full Hollywood here. I want to shoot the knife.
Wait. Okay. You can make me a firearms roll here. I'll let this happen, but I'll just want to let you know that you're going to need.
Oh, I know it's hard.
You're going to need an extreme success here because I just rolled a 17, which is in the case of the knife. That is an extreme success.
Okay. So that'll be firearms, handgun, HG.
Yes. Yes. Okay, so you've just rolled a hard success against 20, which is really very impressive. Unfortunately, I did roll a 17 against 100 for the knife, which is for the knife an extreme success. So I'm going to say the bullet bounces off the blade of this knife, knocks it off at an angle, and rather than aiming for your shoulder where it's before, the knife veers off course. You feel it sink deep into your stomach.
Oh, great.
And you're plunging deep into your vitals, still moving and still twisting in there, but I'm going to say that's not the... Oh, sorry. My rolling...
No, I'll take 0 damage.
No, I'm afraid that is 9 points of damage.
Which exceeds my hit points. So,
the bullet, you fire this last panic shot of the bullet, and this knife, knocking the knife off course, it twists around in the air, and you feel it sink deep into you, and you see last brief flickering moments. I need you to make me a con roll here to keep consciousness. Yeah, so you are, for this moment, you are conscious, but you are dying.
So do I set my hit points to 0, negative something, or
yes. 0?
Okay.
You are dying currently. You have you probably should be unconscious, but you are not doing well here. And Tilly, you are free from Billy's grip. Billy is down on the ground. He's out. You don't need to worry about him anymore. What are you doing?
I go towards the people.
Okay, you burst through into the dining room, and as you do so, the radio cuts off, and you see this empty dining room, No one there. Just a few plates and tureens on the table, and this smell of rot and decay in the air. No one's there. And Cynthia, you see the boards are off the window, the way that was free, and you see Billy go down.
Is the knife still in his gut?
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to open the window, but I am going to go grab Billy and see if I can drag him out the window.
Okay. All right, so you're dragging. You can do that. See how long this is going to take you. Make me a strength roll. This is how far you're going to be able to get in one go.
Standard?
Yes, standard.
That's an extreme success.
You feel adrenaline coursing through your body. Frustration and panic reaching your head as you're dragging Billy up out the window, over the sill, and into the wet grass of the garden beyond. His consciousness is flickering now at this point. And he's probably making the sounds appropriate to someone with a knife stuck in them being dragged out of a window. But yes, the pair of you are out of the house. And Billy, I need you to make me a con roll, please.
Right.
Okay. Your consciousness is you're barely conscious at this point, but you're not dead yet.
I'm going to say one word. Tilly!
The knife doesn't seem to be moving in your gut anymore. You can't feel, you feel it still jammed deep there in sort of several key organs very skewered along the way. But it doesn't seem to be moving anymore. Tilly, the house is quiet around you. The radio has stopped. And the people who tricked you and trapped you and misled you, they've gone. You can't hear them anymore. You can't see them. But you do smell smoke.
Tilly's gonna take a seat, take a breather, and try to compose herself.
You're still very much insane. You're very much not composed.
Don't forget, there's a window fresh
two
open.
more rounds. But
so there's not a way to fight the insanity at all?
You've got 2 more rounds of this extreme paranoia and insanity.
Got it.
But you do smell smoke.
Okay, are there any windows in this room?
Yes, there are. They are boarded up from the inside.
Okay. Is there another lovely knife to use to cut the windows down?
Oh, there is a ladle on the table. You could definitely use that as a lever.
Wow.
Yeah, that would work. That sounds good.
Would love to use that to try to unboard these windows instead.
Okay, make me a strength roll. You've got a bonus die from your lever.
Sure.
Okay.
Bonus on strength. Nice.
Yeah, so in your sort of, I don't know, maybe Matt doesn't do strength, you're managing sort of using this lever, splinters sticking into your hands, but you need to wrench these boards off. Maybe they weren't quite as well attached as the ones in the other room, but you managed to pry these boards away from the window, and you can see your way clear to outside, where, well, Cynthia is sort of been dragging Billy through the wet grass and undergrowth. What are you doing, Cynthia?
Oh, I'm trying to get out to the street, and I'm going to be calling for some help. How late is it at night? Is there police patrols happening?
It's evening at night. You remember it's a very quiet area. make me, as you drag him outside, make me a look roll. Let's see if you're lucky enough that anyone is passing close enough to hear this.
Yes, success.
Yeah, so as you're dragging him out on the street, you see the stumbling drunk figure that you saw before. Look over here and start making their way towards you across the street. Take them some time to get there. But they are coming towards you going, Mom, lady, what you got there? Billy, I need you to make me another con roll, please.
Succeed, please.
You're hovering on the brink of...
Nope.
Damn.
Maybe all take a brief moment here to mourn the passing of Professor Billy Quartermain. Cynthia is still dragging him out onto the street. This drunk man stumbling towards you. Tilly, you can see the way clear outside the house now. The fire is starting to spread behind you.
I will leave if possible.
You're perfectly free to leave. Your mind is starting to clear now. The panic and the paranoia is starting to fade. And I mean, there's still definitely an underlying horror in there. As you leave the house, you can see Cynthia dragging Billy out onto the street, and you see this drunk man stumbling out towards, going, Ma'am, what's going on? Oh my God, is that house on fire? There is a lot of blood, Cynthia. You can see that there's almost this trail of blood where you've dragged Billy from the house. And I'm going to say we're out of sort of combat sort of order here now, but Cynthia, I need you to make me a sanity roll here for what you have has just witnessed out here, because this is quite a horrible shock. But you're able to keep a grip on it. Keep calm. You've got this. This is you've got this. You've got the situation in the hands. You're gonna get a medic. Everything's gonna be fine. It's going to be fine.
Oh yes. I'm talking to myself. I can hear the drunk man talking. We need a doctor, medic, somebody.
Hey, I'm no medic.
No. Can you call?
I don't have a phone. The nearest phone there. It must be.
Where's the
police station up that way?
Can you go to the police station? This
sure,
man's
Mom.
dying.
Yeah, sure. I'll be back in. I'll be back in a minute. Hold on, Mom. Hold on.
Or you can stay with. You can stay with him, and I will run.
Yes, Mom. Oh my. And Tilly, you're stumbling free of the house. See Cynthia sort of legging it up the street, and Billy down on the ground, blood everywhere. And in that brief last moment before clarity comes to you, you just have a brief flashing thought of, she killed him. And then your mind starts to clear again, and you actually, as you're seeing Billy's bloodied body, Tilly, I do need you to make me another sanity roll, please. Oh, okay. So here's what happens. Cynthia, you're heading to get the police. Billy, you're dead. And Tilly, your bout of paranoia, your bout of madness is over. But as you still have that, the underlying sanity is there, any further loss of sanity does trigger. So you do lose another 3 points of sanity. And this time I'm going to stick with the results as it gives you. I want you to roll me a d10. You run.
I run.
Just
I
leg it.
run.
You flee in
I'm
panic.
going.
You are gone. And we'll get back to you in a minute. And what happens when Tilly comes to her senses again? But Cynthia, you go running around to a police station. You're very bored-looking sergeant on the front desk. Ma'am, what can I do to help you?
Professor Quartermain's been stabbed in the gut.
Who, ma'am?
A professor. He and
Where?
I down the street over by Newport 13, number 13.
Thompson Hobbs. How's it going?
She's turned to point out down the street, he will see the blood that's on her back from being stabbed.
Oh, Mom. You stay right here, Mom. We'll go secure the scene.
There was a drunk man.
Being here for the 1920s here, but
he's probably in a cart and a horse-drawn cart or something. No, they've got cars then, don't they?
They've got cars.
Yeah. Okay. But there was a drunk man who stayed with the professor. I told him to stay while I ran to.
Yeah. They're heading off. Someone is on the phone saying, "We need to call a doctor." And possibly you see a small glow off in the distance. Is something on fire, Mom?
Oh no! The candles fell over.
All right. Ambulance, please, fire engine. So the full force of the emergency services descend on the Corbitt house. Cynthia, you're asked to wait at the police station. And just sits you down. I was going to say gets you a cup of tea, but I don't think that's the appropriate behavior for the American police there.
If they have somebody there manning the office, they might give them a cup of coffee, I think.
Cup of coffee.
But somebody would
Boston.
probably
I know what the Bostonians do to tea. It's shocking.
Somebody would probably be treating the injuries, though.
Yes. Oh, yes. You did get stabbed. I forgot you'd got stabbed.
Multiple times.
Yeah. So they're calling the doctor for you. Patching up. You do get 2 of your hit points back as the doctor sort of gives you treatment, but they are sort of saying, "We've had a doctor take you over to the hospital to get you checked out. Don't worry, Mom, we've got this under control. We will send someone to interview you and try and understand how you got into this situation." Tilly. Sometime later, you come to your senses.
Yes.
Somewhere on the outskirts of Boston. Your clothing sort of ripped and torn, smoke and soot stained. Perhaps even smeared with some blood you've got on it somehow. You do remember what happened. You remember the house. Your gun is missing. Yeah, and you're out far in the outskirts of Boston. In the middle of the night. It's up to you how you want to proceed from there. You do have a memory of people getting stabbed by floating knives. Possibly a house catching fire. And sort of the image of Billy's corpse flickers before your eyes.
Should probably go to the doctor, I think. Go to the emergency room.
head to the hospital, sort of get yourself checked out. There's no sort of physical injuries on you apart from a few splinters in your hand. They're probably just going to... well, depends how much are you telling them about what happened.
Oh, I just don't feel well.
Okay, so you're not going into detail about floating knives and haunted houses. Yes. You avoid being committed to the asylum, but you get prescribed, some rest, tonic for your nerves, and you read in the newspaper perhaps a couple of days of a tragic accident at 13 Newport Street, Boston, where it seems that there was an accident and 2 people managed to get seriously injured by some vagrants who were staying in an old abandoned house. And sadly, an old professor was died, and another woman was treated and recovered from her injuries. The culprit is still at large, and residents of the area are warned to be on their guard. The house at 13 Newport Street was severely damaged in the fire, but is still standing. Much of the front of the house being destroyed, but the back of the house and perhaps any lower levels remaining solid and secure. The property owner declined to comment on whether he was involved in the people arriving at the house, and expressed his extreme displeasure at the damage. But luckily the house was insured. Cynthia, you would come across this same article featuring, perhaps, would you like to add a quote from Cynthia to this article? Would she have deigned to be interviewed?
The only comment she's going to say is, I strongly suggest that house be demolished. And that is it. That's the only quote that they have is, I strongly suggest the house be demolished.
Yes. And does she remain a mystery writer?
No, she switches over to romance. She finishes off whatever series she had started, and then she switches over to romance.
Billy is remembered fondly. They probably named a new wing of the library after him, his university. The Billy Quatermain Memorial Library. Tilly, going forward, how would this affect Tilly's life going forward, do you think?
Tilly doesn't really do antiques anymore. I think Tilly moves back in with her parents and just lives a quiet life, doing whatever necessary to pay rent that isn't frightening.
Okay. And with that, we conclude The Haunting and a foray into Call of Cthulhu.
Wow.
And thank you very much to everyone who joined us for that. And thank you very much to my players for allowing me to torment them with haunted houses rather than letting them just kill everything I throw at them like normal.
I'm terrified.
It's a delightful change.
I'm terrified. I don't know if I could play another Cthulhu game now. Thank you.
Really? I love Cthulhu games.
I think
awesome.
I think I want to stick with my World of Darkness.
What? Oh, come on. This is nowhere near as nasty as World of Darkness.
That is saying something, for sure.
But yes, speaking of World of Darkness, Tam or Mama, tell them about Black Death.
Oh, well, you just did. It's Black Death.
Tuesday nights, 8 p.m. Eastern, we have Black Death, which is another horror, dark-themed strange ghosts and things going. I so much wanted the ghost to look at you, Cynthia, and say, "I'm sorry. I'm so sorry."
If I had more time to prep, I should have done some kind of one set in London that's tied in. This house is built over a plague pit. But yeah.
So, anyway, Tuesday nights, love for people to join us and enter the darkness.
Yes.
Oh yes, please come join
Yeah.
us. Fun things are happening now.
We have someone caught the plague.
Mm-hmm.
A player.
Yeah, one of the players finally caught the plague.
Caught the plague.
Wait, character or player?
Carrick. Well, I don't know. She's been sick for a few days since.
She has.
Yeah.
She
So,
sadly couldn't join us tonight
You never know.
because she has the plague.
Yes.
Yeah. And anyone out there who wants to play or run Call of Cthulhu, the scenario we're doing tonight is called The Haunting. It's included in the starter scenario free, in the free rule set, and free on Roll20 as well. And honestly, I'd say even after seeing this, you could probably still run it because it's not spoiled most of the actual.
We are horrible investigators, is what she's trying to say.
Terrible investigators.
The second time I run this scenario, and very different.
That's what
But,
makes it fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we'll be back next week at the normal time, not the delayed scenario changing time, with Isfjell, when we return to Dungeons and Dragons and heroes and magic powers, and
we get to meet my mom.
yeah, we get to meet
Heroes?
Adair's heroes. Although I am
Heroes.
thinking, we still end up getting all freaked out and locked in small cupboards and weirded out by seeing strange things. But yes, we head into the woods to meet Adair's mother and his home. Well, hopefully reaching Adair's hometown if you don't get lost flying your boat along the way. To answer a call for aid from Adair's mentor, the Druid Herion. We'll see how that turns out next week. Unless everyone is either internet outages or sick again, in which case I get to murder everyone. All right. Well,
All right.
thank you very much.
All right.
And farewell.
Thanks, everybody.
Enjoy your weekend.
Bye.